Chapter 121. Su Yiyan did not have a good impression of the eldest son of the Ning family, but he did not have a bad impression of him either. Although this person looked serious, he was actually very fond of his younger brother. In the previous life, after Ning Qirui's death, he had helped Wen Jingping several times because of his younger brother's last words and his mother's pleas. Even his friends and subordinates suspected that he was treating Wen Jingping differently, because he had taken a fancy to her. Later on, Hua Qinhuan asked him this question when they bumped into each other on the road. Su Yiyan was beside Hua Qinhuan at that time and clearly heard him say, "She was the only person Qirui could not let go of before he passed away. If she died, my mother's only hope would be gone. I can't take this risk. I'm even more afraid that I won't be able to face Qirui when I'm in the afterlife." In short, he was not interested in Wen Jingping at all. It was only because his younger brother did not want his mother to lose her emotional support that he had no choice but to protect this ordinary woman. When Hua Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping bit the hand that fed them and tried to take over the Qi family's assets, Ning Xiyuan was not oblivious. He tried to resist. However, just like Su Yiyan in the previous life, Hua Xiaofeng was not even 1/10 of Ning Xiyuan's ability. If the two of them really fought, there was almost no doubt who would win. However, Hua Xiaofeng had the halo of a protagonist, so all his talents and abilities had to be put aside. He was just about to make a move on the Ning family when Ning Xiyuan met with an accident. Once Ning Xiyuan fell, the Ning family quickly fell into chaos. Hua Xiaofeng took advantage of the situation without any effort. They, who were used as stepping stones, were the ones who suffered the most. Thinking of this, Su Yiyan felt pity for the person in front of him. They were in the same boat. Ning Xiyuan saw that Su Yiyan had revealed his identity as soon as they met. His eyes flashed, but he did not say anything in the end. On the other hand, when Ning Qirui heard that Su Yiyan had been standing outside the door for a while, he realized that the person in question had overheard everything he had just said to his brother. He was furious. "Why didn't you say anything when you came? Don't you know that eavesdropping on other people's conversations is impolite and immoral?" Qirui. Ning Xiyuan scolded Ning Qirui in disapproval. Ning Qirui was still a little afraid of his brother, so he shut his mouth in embarrassment. However, his eyes were still glaring angrily at Su Yiyan. He looked like a bloated pufferfish. Su Yiyan was amused by his sullen look of being angry, but not daring to speak. Second young Master Qi is right. It is indeed impolite to eavesdrop on other people's conversations. It's just that when we arrived, we happened to hear the two of you talking about me. Moreover, second young master was rather agitated at that time. If we rashly barged in at this time, I'm afraid that it would only worsen the situation. So, we decided to stand guard outside the door. When Su Yiyan said these words, he glanced at Ning Qirui teasingly, as if to say that it was impolite for them to eavesdrop on other people's conversations. Was it polite for them to talk behind people's backs? Ning Qirui's face turned red. He opened his mouth to refute, but he found that he could not say anything. Su Yiyan was right. He had indeed lost control of his emotions just now. If Su Yiyan and Ning Qirui had suddenly appeared at that time, Ning Qirui would not have been kind to them. He might even have said something hurtful in a fit of anger. Now, although he was still hostile to Su Yiyan, he had to admit that what Su Yiyan said that day was true. Chapter 122. As if sensing the change in the atmosphere in the ward, Ning Xiyuan wisely broke the silence and rescued his brother. Ahem. I invited Miss Su over today because of Qirui's illness. I heard that when Miss Su met Qirui for the first time, she could tell that there was something wrong with him and reminded him to come for a checkup. That's right. A glint flashed across Ning Xiyuan's eyes. How did Miss Su notice that there was something wrong with my brother? I studied Chinese medicine on my own. Chinese medicine is all about looking, listening, questioning, and feeling the pulse. Looking is to determine whether the patient's internal organs are healthy based on his facial features, and determine the patient's physical condition. Chinese medicine? Ning Xiyuan's confusion was within Su Yiyan's expectations. In their world, after two great transitions, most of the Chinese herbs had gone extinct, not to mention Chinese medicine. It's a bit troublesome to explain. In short, every part of a person's body is interconnected. Once there is an internal problem, it will inevitably surface. Maybe you don't feel any discomfort at first, but in the eyes of an expert, your appearance has already warned you of your physical condition. Ning Siyuan understood most of it. He frowned and asked suspiciously, Miss Su, do you mean that you can tell the internal disease from the external appearance? Yes. Then Miss Su, can you help me check if there is anything wrong with my body? Su Yayan knew that he was testing her, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. She smiled faintly and said, Young Master Ning's breathing is more rapid and long than the average person's. It should be the asthma that came from his mother's womb. As soon as Su Yiyan said that, everyone's expression changed, especially Ning Chirui. No one knew better than him that his elder brother was born with asthma. Although the disease was not fatal, it could only be alleviated and was difficult to cure. When it flared up occasionally, it was very distressing. Compared to him, Ning Siyuan was much calmer. Although not many people knew about his asthma, it was not a secret. It did not mean anything that Su Yiyan could say. Su Yiyan was also aware of this, so he continued, Other than that, your stomach isn't very good either. You should be having frequent stomach pains recently, right? Ning Siyuan narrowed his eyes and finally looked at the person in front of him. Brother, your stomach is really... After this incident, Ning Chirui was really scared. He looked at Su Yiyan pitifully and said anxiously, Is my brother's stomach a big problem? Do you need to check it too? Su Yiyan burst into laughter. Ning Chirui was stunned, and his face turned red. A few days ago, Ning Chirui was still questioning her in a strange manner. How long had it been since their positions were completely reversed? Ning Chirui felt his face hurt a little. After Su Yiyan laughed, he didn't make things difficult for him. He said truthfully, It's nothing serious for the time being. It's just a slight case of gastritis. However, since the disease has already occurred, we have no choice but to take it seriously. We have to recuperate for a period of time. Otherwise, if the inflammation worsens, it will be difficult to deal with. Ning Chirui breathed a sigh of relief and turned to look at his eldest brother. Brother, did you hear that? Take good care of your stomach. Don't take your health too lightly. Ning Siyuan was speechless. He was here to persuade his younger brother to take good care of his illness. Why was he being lectured instead? Let's talk about Chirui's condition first. Miss Su, since you can see Chirui's condition at a glance, do you have a way to treat him? Chapter 123. Although she thought so, she did not show it on her face. Young Master Ning, you think too highly of me. Just because I can tell doesn't mean that I know how to treat it. Ning Siyuan looked at Su Yiyan's calm expression, and his eyes darkened. Naturally, he would not believe her words so easily. Others may not be able to do it, but it doesn't mean that Miss Su can't do it. Miss Su only met my useless brother once that day, and she was willing to remind him, a stranger she met by chance, to do this checkup. It shows that she is a kind and warm-hearted person. I don't think she can bear to see my brother get sick at such a young age, and be involved with the hospital for the rest of his life, right? Putting on such a high hat was indeed a bit of moral kidnapping. Su Yiyan was silent and did not comment. Ning Siyuan continued, and I heard that Miss Su has taken over Dongqing recently. Dongqing spent a lot of effort on Chirui, and put in a lot of effort to get him to where he is today. If Chirui can't continue to work because of his illness, Dongqing will have to bear some losses. Su Yiyan was not surprised that Ning Siyuan knew about Dongqing's change of ownership. How could this hidden brother complex know nothing about the company his brother signed with? On the contrary, Ning Chirui seemed to have just learned the news and was thunderstruck. What? She took over Dongqing? Doesn't that mean she became his boss? Su Yiyan looked at his shocked face and wanted to tease him. She smiled and said, That's right. Dongqing was originally my family's business, and it was transferred to my name 2 days ago. So now you are an artist under me, and I am your boss. Remember to be alert when you meet in the future. Don't be as reckless as before. Otherwise, if you make me unhappy, do you believe that I'll freeze you? Ning Chirui's face turned green and white. He was angry and wrung his hands. Su Yiyan laughed and did not continue to tease him. She turned her attention back to Ning Siyuan. Dongqing has put in a lot of effort and resources to support Ning Qiruwei. Now that he's sick, he can't repay the company's nurturing. According to the company's contract, this part of the loss should be compensated by the artist. Thinking about it, the Qi family and the Ning family have big businesses. They should be able to afford such a small amount of money, right? Ning Siyuan's eyes turned cold. He had tried in vain to tempt Su Yiyan with benefits, but now he had been checkmated by Su Yiyan. His expression was rather ugly. Just as countless thoughts flashed through Ning Siyuan's mind, from coercion to sincere pleading, and then from pleading to a sky-high reward, Su Yiyan spoke again just as he was imagining the worst-case scenario. However, as President Ning said just now, I'm a kind-hearted and warm-hearted person. I really can't watch someone die in front of me, even if it's just a small life. Ning Qiruwei was speechless. Can you be more shameless? How could anyone boast and praise themselves like this? And what did you mean by that last sentence? He was the young master of the Ning family, but in her eyes his life was just a small life. Was she looking down on him? Ning Qiruwei, who felt that he was being looked down upon, was furious again. Xia Junsheng, who had followed Su Yiyan closely and had been silently standing behind her, was also stunned by Su Yiyan's actions. He sighed inwardly. Was this little girl's skin so thick? She could really compete with her brother. Chapter 124. Ning Siyuan did not care about that. His emotions were like a roller coaster that went up and down, and he was unsettled. Miss Su, do you mean that he can be cured? Su Yiyan did not comment. She picked up the test results beside the bed and glanced at them. She knew why Ning Siyuan was so anxious. Even with her reminder, Ning Qiruwei's kidney disease was still the same as in her previous life. It began to flare up and deteriorate. The deterioration was usually rapid and irreversible. The final conclusion of the test results was that the patient should be hospitalized as soon as possible and cooperate with the doctor to control the disease and prevent it from worsening. However, it was only control. No one could guarantee that he could be cured. The longer the disease was delayed, the more serious it would be and the harder it would be to control it. Ning Siyuan saw the change in Su Yiyan's expression and his heart skipped a beat. He was afraid that something unexpected would happen. Miss Su, I can try, but I have a condition. Miss Su, please tell me. Ning Siyuan's eyes flashed. He thought that Su Yiyan would ask for an exorbitant price, but, during the treatment process, the patient needs to cooperate with me 100%. No matter what treatment plan I come up with, he can't have any objections. In addition, you and your family can't interfere with my treatment process. That's all? That's all. Su Yiyan was too lazy to beat around the bush. I'll try if I can do it. If I can't, then forget it. I won't force you. Wait. Ning Siyuan was decisive. When he saw that Su Yiyan was about to leave, he quickly said, I can agree to your conditions. Brother. Shut up. The patient has no right to speak. Ning Qiruwei was speechless. Did he have to be so authoritarian? What was wrong with the patient? The patient was human too. I can agree to all the conditions that Miss Su just mentioned, but Miss Su, you have to let me know first, right? As long as we agree to your conditions, can you guarantee that you can cure my brother? President Ning, you think too highly of me. Even the best doctor in the world can't make such a promise to the patient. Ning Siyuan's face darkened. Are you kidding me? Su Yiyan met his gaze without a trace of fear. I just said I'll try. From her point of view, helping Ning Qiruwei was a risky endeavor. She was not foolish enough to boast to Ning Siyuan at this point in time. It would be a strenuous and unrewarding task for her. The two of them stared at each other in silence for a long time. In the end, it was Ning Siyuan who broke the silence. Even if there's no guarantee that I'll be cured, Miss Su must have some expectations in her heart. May I ask how confident Miss Su is? Su Yiyan's eyes flashed and gave a more conservative estimate. 60%. But if your brother cooperates actively and your family doesn't interfere, we can raise it to 80%. If she hadn't activated her second skill, she might not have been so confident. Now that she had activated her second skill, she was much more confident. Ning Siyuan heaved a sigh of relief. To him, this number was already considered very high. It was at least 2 or 3 times higher than the number given by the hospital. Okay, I agree to your request. As long as you can cure my brother, you'll be the benefactor of the Ning and Qi families. Chirue's condition is more urgent. The longer we delay, the more dangerous it will be. When do you think? Chapter 125. The few of them did not even realize where Su Yiyan had taken this out from. They all stared blankly at the acupuncture bag in her hand and asked doubtfully. This is… Su Yiyan opened the small bag, and in an instant, a row of shiny thin needles came into view in the room. Ning Chirui suddenly had an ominous feeling in his heart. Xia Junxing could not help but gasp and ask tentatively, Yiyan, are these needles going to be inserted into Chirue's body? If not him, then who? Is there anyone else in this room who needs treatment? After Su Yiyan finished speaking, she seemed to have thought of something and looked at Xia Junxing and Ning Siyuan. If you two want to be treated with me, I can also insert a few needles into your bodies. As soon as she finished speaking, Xia Junxing and Ning Siyuan took a few steps back to distance themselves from Su Yiyan. No need. Our bodies are still considered healthy, and we will take care of ourselves in the future. You'd better treat Chirui first. Don't waste your talents on us. Ning Siyuan also chimed in, he's right. Brother. Ning Chirui did not expect that his brother, who had been so worried about his illness not long ago, would use him as a shield. No, a shield. Ning Siyuan's heart softened when his brother called him that. He frowned slightly, and was about to say something when he was interrupted by Su Yiyan. President Ning, we agreed to listen to my arrangements. Are you going back on your word? Ning Siyuan swallowed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. Ning Chirui was extremely anxious. Brother, that's a needle. It's so long and sharp. How painful would it be if it pierced into the body? Moreover, I've never heard of anyone saying that acupuncture can cure illnesses. She's using her position to avenge a personal grudge. Brother, can you bear to see me being bullied by her like this? If you've never heard of it, it only means that you're ignorant. If your illness could be cured using normal methods, your brother wouldn't be in such a hurry to find me. Special conditions require special treatment. We agreed that you'd listen to me. If you don't cooperate, I'm leaving. Ning Chirui choked. Xia Junxing also persuaded. Chirui, just bear with it. That needle may look scary, but for the sake of your illness and your life, what's a little pain? Do you have the heart to let your parents send you off? Ning Chirui could not say anything and could only look at his brother for help. Ning Siyuan's heart almost softened, but when he thought of Xia Junxing's words, he steeled his heart and turned his face away to ignore his pleas. Su Yiyan's what she saw. She rolled Ning's treatment. Get someone to guard the ward. Don't let anyone come in and disturb me. As you can see, this needle is really scary. What if someone suddenly rushes in and gets scared when I'm pricking him, and accidentally pricks him? Ning Chirui almost burst into tears. Was this a threat? It was a threat. Ning Siyuan seemed to have finally realized how scary the person in front of him was. He quietly went out to help. A few minutes later, the required items were delivered. A few bodyguards were guarding the door. Su Yiyan straightened her face. First she lit some mugwort. The room was filled with the fresh aroma of mugwort to soothe the patient's tense mind. Then, she took out the silver needles to disinfect them. She raised her hand and approached Ning Chirui. Chapter 126. Ning Siyuan and Xia Yanyan were shocked. They looked in the direction of the sound with their pale faces, only to see the inch-long needle hanging in front of his chest. It did not even break his skin. The two of them. It was not just the two of them. Su Yiyan was so shocked that her hand trembled. She took a closer look and realized that she had not stabbed him at all. Su Yiyan frowned. She looked at the spot, and was about to stab him when she let out another long scream. The three people in the room. Close, scream, close again, scream again. After a few times, Su Yiyan felt that she was going deaf. Finally, She could not take it anymore and slammed the table beside her. What are you screaming for? The needle didn't even go in. What are you screaming for? Even girls don't scream as loudly as you do when they get injections. You're a big man, aren't you? Are you trying to raise your voice in front of a big boss like me so that you can recommend yourself and develop a side career? When Xia Junxing heard Su Yiyan's words, his eyelids twitched. He reminded her. Yiyan Chirui came from a talent show. Singing is his main job, not his side career. Su Yiyan was so angry that she laughed. Main job? No wonder he screamed so loudly. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that he was singing a folk song. After being scolded by Su Yiyan, Ning Chirui lost all his previous arrogance. He shrunk his neck like a little wife and said fearfully, I'm scared. Now you're scared? Weren't you quite capable before? I'm warning you, this is the last time. If I hear you scream again, I'll turn you into a hedgehog and let you scream to your heart's content. Ning Chirui was so scared that he burped and looked at Su Yiyan with red eyes. This woman was not human at all. She was a demon. Su Yiyan was also troubled by his behavior. Forget it. Both of you come over and help me hold him down. Don't let him move. Ning Siyuan and Xia Junxing wanted to stay as far away from Ning Chirui as possible, but they were called out. They looked at each other, and although they were reluctant, they still went forward and held Ning Chirui down. Ning Chirui wanted to cry but had no tears. He felt like he was a fish on a chopping board, and Su Yiyan was the murderer with a kitchen knife who was about to cut him into pieces. When Su Yiyan saw that he finally stopped making a fuss, she breathed a sigh of relief. She focused her attention on the acupuncture point where she was about to insert the needle, and probed forward slightly. When Ning Chirui saw the tip of the needle approaching, he opened his mouth to scream, but his eldest brother covered his mouth first. He could only watch as Su Yiyan pierced the needle into his own flesh. It wasn't painful, but there was a strange feeling that made his hair stand on end. Ning Siyuan and the other man heaved a huge sigh of relief when they saw that the needle had finally penetrated the skin. Before he could rejoice, he saw a small stream of blood suddenly fly out from the place where the needle pierced. Although it was said to be a small amount, it was actually only 2 or 3 small drops of blood. However, it still brought a great deal of trauma to the people present. The atmosphere in the ward was a little awkward for a moment. Ning Chirui's face was pale, and he looked miserable as if he was about to die. Su Yiyan also realized that she seemed to have missed the needle by a little. She laughed awkwardly and said, "Ahem, I haven't practiced for too long, so I'm a little rusty. It's not a big problem, it's not a big problem." The 3 people in the room were speechless. How was this not a big problem? Chapter 127. After a moment of chaos, Su Yiyan finally managed to insert the needles into the fixed acupuncture points. After that, it was another round of torture. At first, Ning Chirui was still grumbling and refusing to comply. Later, he realized that he was already isolated and helpless in this matter. No matter how much he struggled, he could not escape from Su Yiyan's clutches. He gave up on himself and closed his eyes. Out of sight, out of mind. After a few accidents, Su Yiyan's needles became more and more stable. In the end, he basically did not feel any pain, and there were no more blunders like at the beginning. The faint aroma of mugwort drifted in the room. It was very calming and sleepy. When Su Yiyan removed the needles from Ning Chirui's back, the guy had already fallen asleep. However, the corners of his eyes were still slightly red, and his expression was innocent with a hint of grievance. He looked like ahem, as if he had been viciously F***ed. It was not wrong to say that he had been F***ed. After all, Su Yiyan had indeed inserted a lot of needles into him. The 2 onlookers had goosebumps. Ning Siyuan, who had been by the side, saw that Su Yiyan had finished inserting the needles. He anxiously stepped forward and asked in a low voice, "That's it?" "Yes." Su Yiyan put away the needles and sighed softly. "It's the first treatment, so I'm not particularly well prepared. I'll come again in the afternoon the day after tomorrow and perform moxibustion on him again. After that, I'll do it about twice a week." When Ning Siyuan heard that Su Yiyan would perform the same treatment again the day after tomorrow, his face was a little pale. When he heard the second half of the sentence, his expression became slightly better. In addition, after the acupuncture, you have to pay special attention to your diet. You can't drink alcohol and eat some stimulant food. You can eat more protein foods like fish, eggs, milk, and so on. After Su Yiyan finished speaking, he seemed to have thought of something and sighed. Forget it, you probably don't understand. I'll take care of the diet myself. From today onwards, send someone to my house for 3 meals a day. I don't have time to send it to you every day. Medicinal cuisine. Aren't you curious about how I can treat you? This is my method. Acupuncture and moxibustion, supplemented with medicinal cuisine. However, your brother's illness is rather serious. It may take some time. You and your family should be mentally prepared. Ning Siyuan clenched his fists instinctively. As long as his brother could be cured, spending some time was nothing. They could afford to wait, as long as he could recover. Then I'll leave it to you, Miss Su. Leave your contact details with Miss Su, and I'll send someone to pick it up regularly. Ning Siyuan paused. As for the cost of the meal, the corners of Su Yiyan's lips curled up slightly as she teased. There's no need to pay for the meal. My family also needs to eat, so it's not a big deal to bring him along. However, I hope that President Ning can help me keep an eye on him when the time comes, lest he thinks that I'm trying to poison him with ill intentions. If he throws away all the things that I worked so hard to make, then I really can't do anything. Ning Siyuan felt a little awkward when he heard what she said. He asked tentatively, "May I ask if there's any conflict between Miss Su and Chirui? Chirui seems to have feelings for you, Miss Su." Su Yiyan knew what he wanted to ask. Her eyes flickered slightly as she said with a faint smile, "Conflict? Not really. Today is the second time I've met him. The first time was in Dongqing City when I asked him to go for a checkup." Chapter 128. Ning Siyuan thought he had figured out the truth, but was interrupted by Su Yiyan with a smile. "That's not entirely true. Isn't it? Your brother's hostility toward me didn't start after I said those words to him, but before. To be more precise, it was when I hadn't even spoken to him yet. Just by hearing Brother Junxing mention my name, he already showed hostility towards me. Brother Junxing can testify to that." Xia Junxing frowned when he heard Su Yiyan mention him. He stepped forward and said, "That's right. I wanted to introduce them to each other at that time, but Chirui's expression changed when he heard Su Yiyan's name." "Miss Su, are you suspecting that someone deliberately sowed discord in front of Chirui?" Ning Siyuan didn't think they were lying. According to the assistant's description, Su Yiyan and Xia Junxing were not the only people present that day. Ning Chirui's manager was also present. Even if he didn't ask his brother about the situation that day, he could ask his manager. "I don't know about that. President Ning, you can ask your brother if you really want to know. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Contact me if there's anything else." Su Yiyan had done everything she could, so Ning Siyuan had no reason to keep her. After a long time, Su Yiyan was a little tired. She sat in the car and let out a long sigh. When she looked up, she saw Xia Junxing's conflicted face. "What's the matter? Why are you looking at me like that? Can you really cure Chirui's illness by poking him like that? What else can I do? Could it be that you also think that I'm abusing my power to avenge a personal grudge and take revenge on him? Aren't you?" "Yes," Su Yiyan admitted readily. Xia Junxing's expression changed slightly. But it's indeed an effective way to save him." Xia Junxing breathed a sigh of relief and asked curiously, "Is it really effective? Are you afraid that if it's useless, the Ning family and the Qi family will come after me?" Xia Junxing was exposed by her and looked embarrassed. "Don't worry, I won't do something I'm not sure of. Otherwise, I would have rejected this from the beginning. It's not like there's a hole in my head for causing such trouble for no reason." Since Su Yiyan had already said so much, Xia Junxing believed her for the time being and did not continue this topic. Su Yiyan was left alone. She turned to look out of the car window, lost in thought. Indeed, she wasn't worried that Ning Siyuan would find trouble with her. According to the cautious temperament of the eldest son of the Ning family, after she left, he would definitely ask the hospital to give Ning Chirue a full body examination again. Facts spoke louder than words. No matter how much she said, it was not as intuitive as the test data. When he saw the results, he would know that what she said was true. At that time, he wouldn't even have enough time to thank him. How could he be so foolish as to personally extinguish his younger brother's only hope? Su Yiyan had thought about it a long time ago. The key to the Ning and Qi families becoming Wen Jingping's allies was Ning Chirue. The only way to break this deadlock was to cure Ning Chirue's illness. In this way, no matter what, she would still be Ning Chirue's savior. Even if Ning Chirue was brainwashed by Wen Jingping and was dead set on her, the Ning and Qi families would not target her in the future because of this kindness. On the other hand, they would still leave some leeway for Wen Jingping, who instigated Ning Chirue to be her enemy. She did not believe that with so many people in the Ning family, everyone was as blind as Ning Chirue. They could not see the true colors of the two people, and were at their mercy. Chapter 129. When Su Yiyan returned to the Su family, it was already afternoon. She had just sat down in her room when Hua Chenhuan sent her a video call. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up, and she picked it up immediately. The first thing she saw was a familiar dog's face. Dun Dun first circled the camera a few times, then finally pressed its butt under the camera and used its heart-shaped butt to fill the screen. Su Yiyan was speechless. Showing off its butt in public. How long had it been since they last met? Had this little guy become so flirtatious? Before Su Yiyan could admire her Zai's cute little butt up close, a hand reached over from the side and pulled the little troublemaker aside. Su Yiyan's eyes lit up, and she called out happily, "Chenhuan." Hua Chenhuan could tell that she was in a good mood. His eyes darkened, and he replied softly, "Yes." Dun Dun, who had become yesterday's flower and was thrown aside, was speechless. Every time this happened, it missed its Hua very much. "Don't you have something to do today? Is it done? Did you eat lunch on time? No matter how busy you are, you have to eat on time." Su Yiyan couldn't help nagging when she saw Hua Chenhuan. At the same time, she felt that the wedding was taking too long. If they could get married earlier, she could stay by his side all the time. She wouldn't have to worry about this, and that just after being separated for a short period of time. Hua Chenhuan listened to Su Yiyan's nagging, and the depression in his heart slowly faded away. He responded good-naturedly, "It's done. I eat on time, but the food they make isn't as good as yours. Then I'll make it in the future. I'll get someone to send it to you." Su Yiyan wanted to send it herself, but there were 4 or 5 people at home watching her. If she went to send it every day, she would make Hua Chenhuan hate her. She had already helped him pull some strings with the old master this morning. Cough cough. Hua Chenhuan could also understand this. Her gaze, which was as cold as a knife not long ago, also softened a lot. After the two of them chatted for a while, Hua Chenhuan couldn't help but ask, "Where did you go today?" Su Yiyan was slightly startled and subconsciously answered, "I went to the hospital." "Hospital? I'm fine. It's just that there's something wrong with an artist in the company. I'm going over to take a look." Su Yiyan paused for a moment. She remembered that she still had to treat Hua Chenhuan later. She gritted her teeth and took the initiative to explain everything that had happened. In the end, he even emphasized the identities of Ning Chirue and Ning Siyuan. He repeatedly assured that he had reluctantly decided to save Ning Chirue, because he was worried that his company would be affected if something happened to Ning Chirue. After finally explaining the whole thing clearly, Su Yiyan subconsciously clenched her hands and anxiously waited for Hua Chenhuan's inquiry. She had thought that Hua Chenhuan would ask her why she suddenly wanted to take over Dongqing City. When did she start to learn these things? How did she learn? Who did she learn from? Why did she learn these things? Over and over again, she prepared a script in her heart for fear that she would accidentally give herself away, and it would be difficult to justify herself. Unexpectedly, after listening to her explanation, Hua Chenhuan was silent for a long time and only said one sentence. "You said that you injected him with a few needles? Then did you touch him?" Chapter 130. Hua Chenhuan didn't feel that there was anything wrong with this point. He frowned and said unhappily, "Is this question difficult to answer?" God knew that when he was setting up the proposal place by the sea, he suddenly received a message from his subordinates. When he learned that Su Yiyan had been alone with the two young masters of the Ning family in the hospital ward for more than an hour, his face darkened. For a moment, Hua Chenhuan had already thought of how to kill all the men who got close to his fiancée. Then he would take her to a place only he knew and lock her up so that no one could see her. Su Yiyan didn't know that her unintentional action had almost become the fuse that detonated the bomb. She scratched her face awkwardly and avoided his eyes. "It's not really touching. I just touched." After all, she was a beginner. She had to carefully confirm the acupoints on the patient's body before she dared to insert the needle. What if the needle went astray if she didn't press it? She didn't want to experience a certain someone's demonic voice piercing her ears and flooding the Golden Mountain again. "I'm not very proficient in acupuncture. I can't find the acupoints if I don't press it. You don't know that I missed several times when I pricked him at the beginning." He cried miserably with snot and tears. Su Yiyan looked up at Hua Chenhuan and pursed her lips. "If you don't like it, I won't touch him next time. Even if I have to do acupuncture, I'll ask someone to press it for me. Is that okay?" This glance accurately pierced into the softest part of Hua Chenhuan's heart and easily dispersed the haze that shrouded his heart. The person in front of him could always accurately poke his weak spot before he was on the verge of losing control of his emotions and suppress the dark thoughts in his heart. It was true that there was always one thing to conquer another. Hua Chenhuan bent his fingers hard, revealing his pale knuckles, and then slowly loosened them. After repeating this several times, he asked in a hoarse voice, "Don't you think I'm overbearing?" "Overbearing? No." Su Yiyan stared into his eyes and said matter-of-factly, "As long as you don't like it, I won't do it. In my heart, nothing is more important than making you happy. Of course, if this is considered bossy, then I like it when you're bossy to me." At that moment, Hua Chenhuan seemed to have heard the most moving words of love in the world. The tips of his ears turned red uncontrollably, and his restless heart calmed down completely. "I'm not unhappy." Su Yiyan blinked and thought to herself, "Who are you trying to fool? When you asked that question just now, the fire in your eyes was about to spurt out. How is it that you're not unhappy?" When Hua Chenhuan met Su Yiyan's gaze, he looked bitter and compromised. "You can continue to treat him, but the condition is that I must be present." This was his bottom line. At that time, Ning Chirue, who was still lying in the hospital and sleeping soundly, suddenly trembled. His face was full of pain, and no one knew what terrible nightmare he had. In Su Yiyan's eyes, Hua Chenhuan's request was nothing at all. "Sure, I'll tell you in advance the next time we go. I'll bring you to see how I stab him." If he saw more now and was mentally prepared, he would not be afraid when he was stabbed in the future. Hua Chenhuan, who was completely unaware of Su Yiyan's sinister intentions, nodded cooperatively. "Okay." Seeing that this extremely dangerous topic was finally over, Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 131. Hua Chenhuan's body stiffened, and his facial expression twitched uncontrollably. "I am." Su Yiyan tilted his head and signaled with his eyes that he was listening. Looking into Su Yiyan's eyes, Hua Chenhuan's excuses were useless. In the end, he replied in defeat and embarrassment, "I'm just worried about you." Su Yiyan looked at him for a while and suddenly smiled. "I know. Aren't you angry? Why should I be angry? I know you're worried about me, so you sent someone to follow me. You're afraid that if something happens to me, there will be no one by my side. This is a good thing. My fiancé cares about me so much and values me so much. If word gets out, I don't know how many girls will be jealous of me." Hua Chenhuan's eyes flickered slightly, and his originally tense knuckles gradually relaxed. "Besides, I'm not going out to do anything shameful. It's just one more person secretly protecting me. What's there to be angry about?" Su Yiyan couldn't help but smile. He joked, "If you're really worried that I'll be angry, then I'll give you a special privilege now." "Special privilege? What privilege?" I'll allow you to send someone to follow me secretly, and make sure that you know everything I do in time. Oh, of course, except for some small surprises that I want to give you. If you know about them in advance, then they won't be considered a surprise. Hua Chenhuan was stunned, thinking of the surprises he prepared for Su Yiyan. If they were discovered by him in advance, it would indeed be a lot less fun. Su Yiyan said with regret. Actually, I also want to find someone to keep an eye on you and report to me every day about you. For example, whether you eat on time, whether you rest well, whether you stay up late again. Su Yiyan talked a lot. Hua Chenhuan was not the least bit impatient. Instead, he softly said, I'll let Xian report to you every day. Su Yiyan was stunned. After a few seconds, he realized what he meant and asked in surprise, Can I? Sure. Then you have to make him tell me the truth. He can't cover for you. All right. Starting tomorrow? Today is fine too. Hearing Hua Chenhuan's straightforward answer, Su Yiyan was overjoyed at the unexpected good news. She stared at him for quite a while before sighing with emotion. Oh you, how can you be this good? Hua Chenhuan blushed at her direct praise, but her eyes were bright as she stared at Su Yiyan. He secretly thought that the good person was not him, but the girl in front of him who tolerated him and put his wishes first. To put it nicely, it was because he was worried about her and sent people to protect her secretly. To put it bluntly, it was because he was following her, spying on her, and even monitoring her. If it was an ordinary person, even if they didn't explode on the spot, they would definitely feel disgusted. However, he saw very clearly that Su Yiyan was not the least bit unhappy. She even approved of his actions. It was because she was confident that she would not do anything to let Hua Chenhuan down. At the same time, it was like she said, she wanted him to be happy and at ease. She magnanimously fulfilled his possessiveness and tolerated his bigotry. Thinking of this, Hua Chenhuan's heart felt a little hot. The two ignored Dundun, who was chased out of the screen, and looked at each other affectionately through the screen for a while. Suddenly, they heard a noisy dog barking from downstairs. Chapter 132. Hua Chenhuan raised her eyebrows slightly, and Su Yiyan was also stunned for a moment. The one with the biggest reaction was Dundun, who had been sad and had been forced to be a third wheel. It stood up and stared at its owner on the screen with its dark eyes, as if to ask, I've only been away for a few days, and you already have another dog. Hua Chenhuan was also puzzled. You have another dog? Su Yiyan didn't react at first, but then she remembered that before she went out, her mother seemed to have told her father to ask for a few hounds from his friends. If Hua Qihan's family dared to come over, the dogs would bite them. Could it be? It's not me, it's my mother. She asked my father to borrow a few dogs from his friends this morning. Borrow dogs? Yes. As Su Yiyan spoke, she had already pulled open the curtains in the room. When she saw the two familiar figures at the door of her house, her eyes lit up. Wait, I'll take you to see a good show. When Su Yiyan came down from upstairs, Cheng Xiuqin was standing at the door. Her face was as cold as frost, and her chin was slightly raised. She looked at the two people opposite her with disdain, as if she had seen some dirty garbage that she couldn't stand. Beside her, Mr. Su was holding two dogs in each hand. The four hounds, which were half the height of a person, were majestically blocking the door. Coupled with their loud barks, it was really frightening. Su Yiyan wanted to go closer to watch the show, but she was stopped by someone. Grandpa? Why are you here? Old Master Cheng snorted coldly. If I'm not here, where else can I be? Those two idiots outside rushed to our house so anxiously. Isn't it because of me? If I go out like this, won't I be giving them what they want? Su Yiyan immediately understood. So my mother asked you to stay here and watch the show? Old Master Cheng knocked his crutch on the ground and snorted, his face full of displeasure. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. Her mother asked the old man to stay in the house. On the one hand, she didn't want Hua Qihan and his wife to see him. On the other hand, she was probably afraid that if there was a conflict, the old man's hands and feet would be injured easily. However, the old man wasn't someone who could stay idle. In addition, he had heard about the matter between Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng, so he was full of anger. Instead of sitting in the house leisurely watching the show, he hoped that he could personally lead the 4 dogs and bite those 2 people. Hua Qihan and his wife had never thought that they would face such an awkward situation one day. Before they came, they still felt a little lucky. They thought that generous and honest people like Cheng Xiuqin and her husband would not stop their guests from entering. But they forgot that honest people might be easy to bully, but if they were really forced into a corner, they would be much more terrible than ordinary people. Hua Qihan looked at the 4 restless dogs with a livid face, but he didn't want to go back empty-handed. He could only keep winking at his wife. Mrs. Hua was afraid of dogs. Now facing the 4 dogs, her legs were a little weak. Helpless, her husband refused to go back. She could only bite the bullet and shout, "Xiuqin, don't." Before she finished speaking, Cheng Xiuqin interrupted her impatiently. "I'm not familiar with you. You'd better call me Mrs. Su. Otherwise, people will think that our family Hua is a relative of yours." Chapter 133. Hua Qihan was anxious and angry when he saw that his wife was rebuffed. He took a step forward and said, "Xiuqin, I know you're still angry about Xiaofeng. I've already scolded him severely. You've been friends with Huan for so many years. You're breaking up with her just because of the children. Isn't that?" Cheng Xiuqin almost laughed out of anger. Listen to his tone. "You scolded your son, hurt my daughter, and ruined my family's reputation. Can I pretend that nothing happened? You're breaking up with me just because of the children? If it weren't for the children, we wouldn't be able to see the ugly side of your family." Cheng Xiuqin was disgusted when he thought of how he had been so devoted to this old college friend whom he hadn't seen for a long time. He sighed inwardly that he was really blind. Mr. Su was also disgusted by this family's thick skin. He led the dogs in front of his wife and scolded coldly. "What are you barking for? Do you think you can call my wife by her name?" Her sour words made Hua Qihan's long-prepared speech choke in his throat. The 4 dogs led by Mr. Su opened their mouths and barked at Hua Qihan. Their faces were ferocious, and their mouths were full of sharp white teeth as if they would pounce on them and tear them apart at any time. Hua Qihan and Mrs. Hua subconsciously took a few steps back, their faces pale. Fortunately, Hua Qihan had been the CEO of a company for so many years and had seen a lot of storms. He took a deep breath and barely suppressed the fear and grievance in his heart. He said dryly, "Don't be angry. Don't be angry. We're really here today to apologize. It's true that Xiaofeng was wrong about the engagement, but didn't Yin Yan already beat him up? Xiaofeng is still lying in the hospital, and we've already ordered him to break up with the girl who seduced him. Can you be magnanimous and forgive him this time?" Su Yiyan, who was in the room, raised her eyebrows slightly and was a little surprised. This couple actually forced Hua Xiaofeng to break up with Wen Jingping? But thinking about it carefully, the couple in the original novel didn't have a good impression of Wen Jingping, who came from an ordinary family. If Wen Jingping hadn't hooked up with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the male supporting characters, she had accumulated some connections for herself and could help Hua Xiaofeng in his career. This snobbish couple might not have accepted her as their daughter-in-law. The most disgusting thing was that Hua Qihan had used the word seduced to describe Wen Jingping. Was he trying to push all the blame onto Wen Jingping and get rid of Hua Xiaofeng and his family? Cheng Xiuqin and Cheng Xiuqin were originally full of anger and were about to close the door and let the dog out. However, they were a little stunned by his interference. Yin Yan beat up Hua Xiaofeng? Cheng Xiuqin turned her head and glanced at her husband, only to see that he was also at a loss. Obviously, he knew nothing about this matter. Hua Qihan saw the changes in their expressions and knew that Su Yiyan hadn't told them about it. Yes, the two met 2 days ago and had a small conflict. Yin Yan beat up Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng is still lying in the hospital and can't get out of bed. Chapter 134. Hua Qihan's words were very skillful. He had hit someone and even sent them to the hospital. Ordinary people would subconsciously side with the weaker party when they heard about it. He only said that Su Yiyan hit someone, but did not say why Su Yiyan had a conflict with Hua Xiaofeng or why she hit him. He took things out of context and vaguely implied that Su Yiyan hit Hua Xiaofeng because she was angry about being cheated on. Hua Xiaofeng was indeed wrong before, but now he had hit and scolded him. They also made him break up with that woman. If the Su family continued to pursue the matter, they would inevitably be aggressive. Su Yiyan narrowed her eyes and saw through Hua Qihan's plan at a glance. She wanted to go out and expose them, but she was caught by old Master Cheng again. Where are you going? Of course, I'm going out to explain it to them. If I was really angry about the engagement, I would have hit Hua Xiaofeng and sent him to the hospital. Why would I wait until now? Old Master Cheng heard some clues and his eyes darkened. However, he still did not let Su Yiyan go out. Don't run around. It's useless for a junior like you to go out. They might even accuse you. Old Master Cheng wanted to say, Grandpa will stand up for you. However, when he was about to say it, he remembered his daughter's instructions not long ago and had to swallow his words. Coincidentally, Qin Shuiru happened to hear the noise and came down from upstairs. Old Master Cheng changed the topic. Let your aunt help you. Ah. Qin Shuiru looked confused. Su Yiyan suddenly reacted and said excitedly, Aunt, do me a favor. Outside the door, Hua Qihan saw that Cheng Xiuqin's and Qin Shuiru's expressions were slightly relaxed. Just as he was about to say something, he saw a beautiful woman come out of the house. Qin Shuiru glanced at the couple with an ice-cold expression. She quickly walked up to Cheng Xiuqin and whispered a few words into her ear. The few people present saw Cheng Xiuqin's face darken at a speed visible to the naked eye. He looked at the two of them as if he wanted to eat them alive. Old Su, release the dogs and bite them. Although Father Su didn't know what Qin Shuiru said to his wife, since she was so angry, it must be that the couple had done something to make her angry again. As a qualified wife-slave, Mr. Su believed in his wife unconditionally. He let go of the leash in his hand, so that the dogs could no longer be controlled, and rushed toward Hua Qihan and Su Qianxi. What are you doing? Don't come over, don't come over. The two of them were shocked, especially Mrs. Hua. Her legs were so weak that she could not run. She was dragged by Hua Qihan for a few steps before she finally reacted and stumbled forward. However, how could a two-legged person outrun an experienced four-legged hound? It didn't take long for the four dogs to catch up. From afar, the screams of the two of them could be heard as they were bitten by the dogs. Ha 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 ha. Although Su Yiyan couldn't see their miserable state, he could roughly imagine how miserable the two of them were when he heard the screams. He felt a burst of joy in his heart. After laughing for a while, he took the initiative to greet the hero of the day and praised sincerely, Mom, you were really amazing just now. Chapter 135. After Cheng Xiuqin finished bragging, he seemed to have thought of something and his face darkened. No, I only let the dogs bite them. It's not enough to appease my hatred. Look at who was the one who begged us to marry our daughter to him. Now look at what happened. We're the ones who won't let him go and want to climb up to him. Even if we can't be husband and wife, we can still be friends. Pfft, this family is really shameless. What? Mr. Su was still upset that his daughter only praised his wife and not him. When he heard this, he couldn't be bothered to be jealous. He was about to walk out with a dark face when Su Yiyan pulled him back. Dad, where are you going? I'm going to chase them back. Chase them back? Su Yiyan blinked and looked curious. And then? Beat them up. Su Yiyan was amused by her father's straightforward words. Forget it, forget it. Beating trash like them will only dirty your hands. Although she said that, Mr. Su was still a little indignant. Su Yiyan saw this and smiled slightly. She took the initiative to hug Mr. Su's hand and comforted him. Also, I've already taught Hua Xiaofeng a lesson. Didn't you hear what they said? Hua Xiaofeng is still lying in the hospital and can't get out. Today they suffered at your hands. They probably won't be able to cause any trouble for a while. Qin Shuiru came out late and missed the first part of the show. When she heard Mr. Su's words, she was still a little suspicious. Yin Yan, did you really beat him up? Did you hit him hard? Could it be that this family exaggerated their son's injuries in order to blackmail us? With Qin Shuiru's reminder, Cheng Xiuqin and Cheng Xiuqin came back to their senses and turned to look at Su Yiyan questioningly. Su Yiyan smiled and said gloatingly, "They're not lying this time. That day, I beat Hua Xiaofeng up quite badly. His face is needless to say. The main thing is that place. I kicked him a few times. I don't know if his balls are broken?" Everyone present. After a suffocating silence, Mr. Su turned his face away uncomfortably. He refused to think about how tragic Hua Xiaofeng's situation was. Qin Shuiru and Qin Shuiru blushed. They were embarrassed and relieved at the same time. He deserved it. Towards this kind of scum who still went out to fool around even though he already had a fiancée, he should be kicked until he couldn't take care of himself for the rest of his life. The two of them were not the only ones who had such thoughts. When old Master Cheng heard the words that Su Yiyan had asked Qin Shuiru to convey, his face turned ashen and his anger soared. He almost rushed out to beat up the couple without caring about anything else. Yan didn't do anything wrong. People who think too highly of themselves and think that they can humiliate others just because they have a good family background should be taught a lesson, so that they won't harm others in the future. This couple was really stupid. Their son had done such a thing, yet they still had the face to come here. Did they really think that we would forgive them just because they apologized? This family Hua is rotten to the core. It's hopeless. When Su Yiyan heard the first part of the conversation, she hurriedly nodded in agreement. However, when she heard the last part, she couldn't accept it. "Grandpa, you can't overturn the whole boat with one pole. That Hua Xiaofeng's family is indeed a weirdo, but my fiancé is a good person." Old Master Cheng instantly choked. He looked at his precious granddaughter, who was consciously defending her fiancé's reputation, and talking back to him with righteous words. He immediately muttered to himself, "You're not even married yet, but you already know how to side with outsiders." How am I siding with outsiders? Once we get married, we'll be a family. I'm clearly siding with them. Chapter 136. The visit of the two elders of the family Hua ended with the two men being chased by dogs all the way. After that, Cheng Xiuqin seemed to feel that it was not enough to vent his anger, so he called the security guard of the residential area to complain. How big of a hidden danger was it to the safety of the residential area to let strangers in without the permission of the residents? What if the person who sneaked in was a psychopath or a murderer? Wouldn't it endanger the safety of the residents? When the security guard received the complaint call, he subconsciously glanced at the two men who were besieged by 4 dogs not far away. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he secretly complained, "It's not certain whose safety this will endanger." However, in line with the principle of customer first, and the fact that he was indeed responsible for this matter, the security guard asked a passerby for a video of Hua Qihan and his wife being bitten by dogs and sent it to Cheng Xiuqin. The 4 dogs that Mr. Su had borrowed were all hounds that had been carefully trained by their owner. They were disciplined and would not easily hurt people without their owner's permission. Therefore, although these dogs had pounced on Hua Qihan and his wife at first, they did not hurt them. They just kept biting their skirts and clothes. The dogs, which were half the height of a person, were strong and almost as strong as an adult man. The 2 dogs tugged at Hua Qihan's trouser legs from both sides. Hua Qihan couldn't break free at all. With a tearing sound, his belt was torn, and a small part of his trouser was pulled down, revealing his somewhat funny natal year underwear. At that time, there were several people around, and they could not help but laugh when they saw this. The few people who sympathized with him did not dare to go forward and challenge the power of these dogs. They could only stand by and watch this farce sympathetically and helplessly. Hua Qihan had lived for more than 40 years, and had never been so humiliated. In a fit of anger, he kicked the dog closest to him. The dog did not hurt people because of its owner's instructions. Otherwise, Hua Qihan and his wife would have been torn apart by it. Hua Qihan's kick hurt the dog and it became angry. It no longer followed the rules, and opened its bloody mouth to bite Hua Qihan's fleshy buttocks. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter. I'm dying of laughter. How delightful. How delightful. Who asked them to bully others? This is great. If someone posts it on the public platform, their family will become famous. Ha 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 ha. Chung Xiuqin watched the scene in the video and laughed. Mr. Su watched from the side. Although he felt happy, he still frowned and covered Chung Xiuqin's eyes. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you covering my eyes? Don't look. You'll get a pinprick. His wife was looking at another man in front of him. Although it was pardonable, Mr. Su couldn't help but feel jealous. Chung Xiuqin. She wasn't a child. Why would she have needle eyes? Su Yiyan chuckled when she heard her father's sour complaint. This is something worth keeping as a souvenir. Mom, send me a copy later. Before Su Yiyan's father could say anything, old Master Chung had already reprimanded her. Nonsense. You're an unmarried girl. How can you keep such a thing? Alright, whatever you say then. Chapter 137. Su Yiyan's action of opening the door suddenly paused, and her eyes widened unconsciously. She finally remembered what she had forgotten. When the commotion broke out downstairs, Su Yiyan was in the middle of a video call with Hu Chenhuan. Considering that the relationship between Hu Chenhuan and Hu Qihan's family was not very good, she wanted to take some people downstairs to watch the commotion. However, she bumped into old Master Chung as soon as she went downstairs. In order to prevent old Master Chung from finding out that she was in the middle of a video call with Hu Chenhuan, he would accuse Hu Chenhuan of seducing an innocent, ignorant girl with glib words. Su Yiyan secretly clipped the camera to her jacket pocket, so that Hu Chenhuan could see everything that was happening outside through the small camera. Later, Hu Qihan suddenly mentioned that she had hit Hu Xiaofeng. Su Yiyan's head was hot, and she was so focused on how to get rid of those two eyesores that she forgot that she was still connected to Hu Chenhuan. Everything else was fine, but what she had just said to her grandfather, wouldn't Hu Chenhuan? Hu Chenhuan looked at Su Yiyan's flushed face and smiled slightly. She said meaningfully, Why are you panicking? Are you afraid that I'll hear something that I shouldn't? It would have been better if Hu Chenhuan had not said anything. Now that she said it, Su Yiyan's face turned even redder. This fellow was simply asking the obvious. Su Yiyan did not want to continue this topic with him. She glared at him angrily and said awkwardly, Where's Dundun? I think I heard its voice just now. How could Hu Chenhuan not understand Su Yiyan's thoughts? She followed her words and turned the camera. Su Yiyan took a closer look and saw that the familiar but was facing away from her and shaking. In front of it was a beautiful flower wall. Judging from this scene, it should be in Hu Chenhuan's garden? What's wrong with it? It knows that its owner has a new dog, so it's preparing to run away from home. Running away from home. Su Yiyan tilted her head in confusion. What kind of running away from home is this? It's more like facing the wall to reflect. Hu Chenhuan smiled and explained, There's a hole in the corner of the wall. It wanted to crawl out from there, but it got stuck. Su Yiyan. Are you trying to say that it's too fat? That's right. Why did it have to crawl through a hole? Did it think it was a mole? Well, it's stuck. If Dundun knew what Su Yiyan was thinking, he would definitely roll his eyes at her. How could a runaway swagger through the door? It had always been a very ritualistic dog. Of course, it had to sneak out through a hole when it ran away from home. Unfortunately, no matter how ritualistic it was, it misjudged its size and got stuck as soon as it found a hole to crawl into. In the end, it could only be pulled out of the hole with the help of Hu Chenhuan, and completely shut itself in. Su Yiyan finally got the video of Hu Qihan and his wife being bitten by the dog. She even forwarded it to Hu Chenhuan and said proudly, After all this fuss, it's still in my hands. You see, they came to my house today and made a scene. If this video is released, I'm afraid their family will become the laughingstock of the upper-class circle. Ha 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 ha. After watching the video, Hu Chenhuan calmly clicked to save it, and then said in the same sour tone as Mr. Su, I'll save it for you. You can delete it. Su Yiyan's laughter stopped abruptly and she looked at him in confusion. Chapter 138. This familiar argument made Su Yiyan laugh. She raised her eyebrows and joked, Really? Then I won't watch it in the future. Hu Chenhuan was relieved. Okay. But I really want to see yours. Can't I? Hua Chenhuan was stunned. Her usually serious face turned red from her cheeks to her neck at a speed visible to the naked eye. Su Yayan threw herself into the blanket and laughed hysterically. She laughed until Hua Chenhuan was about to fly into a rage out of humiliation. She coughed lightly and said, "Okay, I won't joke with you anymore. Since you want to delete it, then delete it. But you have to save it for me. If they dare to come and disturb my parents in the future, I'll buy an advertising space in the central square and broadcast this video 24 hours a day. I'll make them a complete laughingstock." Okay. Dun help me comfort it. I am still very loyal. There is no other dog except for it. My dad has just sent the 4 dogs back. Okay. I still have to cook, so I'll leave first. I'll contact you later. Okay. Su Yiyan was about to end the video call when Hua Chenhuan suddenly shouted, "Wait. Huh? Is there anything else?" Hua Chenhuan lowered her head slightly and said without rhyme or reason, "Mine can, but not others." Huh. Before Su Yiyan could react, she ended the video call as quickly as possible. Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds before she realized what Hua Chenhuan meant. She threw her head back into the soft quilt and used the quilt to hide her uncontrollable laughter. How could this guy be so cute? On the other side, Hua Chenhuan, who had unilaterally cut off the communication, spent a long time trying to reduce the heat on her face. She looked at the video in her hand and her eyes sharpened. She turned to contact Zhuo Yanbai. "Young master? Hua Qihan has been too idle recently. Find something for him to do." Zhuo Yanbai was stunned. She expected that Hua Qihan's family might have done something to upset their young master. She was not stupid enough to provoke Hua Chenhuan at this time. She simply replied, "Yes." After ending the call, Hua Chenhuan's expression darkened. His eyes had regained their sharpness, and they were deep and dangerous. A few unpresentable bedbugs were jumping around like grasshoppers after autumn. His patience was about to be worn out. It seemed that his plan had to be brought forward. Since Su Yiyan promised Ning Siyuan to help treat Ning Qirui, she had already drafted a short-term medicinal diet list on the way back from the hospital. Other than that, Su Yiyan had to continue to help her aunt recuperate. Therefore, the general direction of the live stream that afternoon was more or less the same. However, when Su Yiyan prepared the materials and turned on the live broadcast, she found that something was wrong. The number of people waiting in her live broadcast room had doubled from the last time. Many new viewers seemed to have bad intentions. It's finally live broadcast. I thought this plagiarist was too scared to come online. She has already been torn apart by the host, but she still came online as if nothing had happened. Shameless people are invincible. Rubbish host, your face is as big as a basin. I'm going to vomit. Don't. Maybe she's here to apologize. After all, the host has already taken action. Unacceptable. Plagiarist, get out of here. Chapter 139. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the bullet screen became even fiercer. Fortunately, there were still some of her true fans. When they heard her ask, they replied to her immediately. The girl who had been selected before, Xiaoyoshi, even sent her a private message with a link. Su Yiyan clicked on it and saw a long article. To be precise, it was a long statement. As soon as Su Yiyan saw the owner's ID, she roughly guessed the whole story. Her live broadcast popularity on Chonghua Network was getting higher and higher. When Jinping finally couldn't hold back and came to suppress her, Su Yiyan read the statement as fast as she could. The summary was, "I've been participating in the talent show recently and haven't paid attention to the situation in the live broadcast room. I've missed a lot of news. Today, the program team finally had a break. She could finally go online and see the fans' private messages. She knew that someone plagiarized her on the website and became popular. After that, there was a bitter and hateful confession, emphasizing that the dishes she made in the live broadcast room were from her family's recipes. She wanted to use them to benefit the public, but she didn't expect that they would be used for plagiarism. She didn't intend to pursue the responsibility of the plagiarist, but she also asked her to consciously stop this hurtful behavior and stop using it to make money. After reading the whole article, the familiar White Lotus aura came straight to her. Although she didn't directly say the name of Su Yiyen's live broadcast room, on the same website, the Food Channel, she was the only one who suddenly became popular recently. People with a little investigation would find out. The most brilliant thing was that she didn't mention the dishes that Su Yiyen made in the live broadcast room. She directly concluded that the dishes that Su Yiyen made in the live broadcast room were plagiarized. She also used her family's recipes to support her statement. She played the good relationship card. People who didn't know the truth would subconsciously lean towards the weak when they saw this statement. They would think that she was so kind and unpretentious but was still bullied. The person who bullied her was too hateful. The preconceived impression was very bad. With this subconscious thought, who would care about the truth of the matter? At that time, they would hire a group of paid posters to mix in with the passers-by to stir up trouble. They would not need any evidence, and they would be able to convict Su Yiyen verbally. The people who flooded the screen in his live broadcast room were either the Water Army or brainless righteous people, who had been instigated by Wen Jingping. Su Yiyen's eyes darkened slightly as he sneered. It seems that someone's skin is really thicker than the city walls. He has encircled onlooker, and even the gourmet circle as his own territory. Is the housekeeper here? You can give him a title now. Hua Chenhuan had also just logged in. As soon as he entered the live stream, he saw those annoying comments. His face darkened. Even if Su Yiyen did not say anything, he would have already started to ban his account. Wen Jingping had quite a number of fans. Recently, she had also attracted some fans from participating in the talent show. Coupled with the group of ghostwriters, the number of fans was quite large. If it were any other live broadcast room, even if there was a housekeeper, it would be impossible to ban so many people. It was inevitable that the live broadcast would be messed up. Some new anchors had strength in the early stages but no money or background. When they ran into those famous anchors who used this method to mess with them, they could only admit that they were unlucky and be ridiculed. But this time, these people were destined to kick an iron plate. Chapter 140. Therefore, on that day, the technical departments of all the companies under Hua Chenhuan's name received an urgent order. They were to act as external aid for a little-known food streamer on Onlooker Web. They were to investigate and ban the IP addresses of the Water Army. This is too much of a waste of talent. A straightforward technician could not help but mutter softly. Although he spoke softly, there was not even the sound of the keyboard in the room. As soon as he spoke, most of the people in the room heard him. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room became a little awkward. Although the others did not say anything, it was obvious from their expressions that they had the same thoughts as this colleague. They felt that it was too much of a waste of talent to ask them to do such a thing. Yu Zian saw through their thoughts and chuckled. From our boss's point of view, anything related to the lady boss is never a small matter. Do you understand? Like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples, the people who were silently lowering their heads to hide their dissatisfaction were shocked and started whispering to each other. Lady boss? When did the boss get married? I've never heard of it. Our boss has never shown his face in all these years. I'm afraid you don't even know what the boss looks like. How would you know if he's married or not? So the streamer in this live broadcast room is the lady boss? Oh my god. This is like the flood rushing against the Dragon King's temple. Is this a challenge to the gods? Yu Zian was very satisfied with everyone's reaction. After a while he said, to be precise, she's his fiancée. They're getting married next month. Then she's the future lady boss. Yes. Now, do you have any objections? None. Okay. Yu Zian smiled slightly. The boss has ordered that all the employees who participated tonight will get a raise starting from this month. Also, not only is our lady boss good at cooking, but she also knows how to make medicinal cuisine. If you or your family members suffer from incurable diseases, please watch her live broadcast. Everyone suffers from the 3 tribulations and 6 illnesses. If you're unlucky enough to encounter one day, let me know and I'll help you get it. Consider it an internal employee benefit. As soon as Yu Zian said that, the office erupted in cheers. These people only thought that a raise was something to be happy about, but they did not realize that the internal employee benefits that Uzian mentioned at the end were the real benefits. Not long after, this great benefit would even be included in the company's recruitment advertisement, attracting countless elites in the industry to squeeze their heads out in order to join this new small company. After knowing that the person being harassed by the fake reviewers was their future lady boss, the programmers' resentment was finally reduced. They also became more motivated to do things. After all, it was not a free contribution. There was a raise, and for the sake of a raise, he would *CK them up. None of the Water Army and anti-fans can escape. Remember to record their IPs and IDs. Since we're going to seal them, let's seal them thoroughly and clear them out of our melon net. Hearing Uzian's words, one of his subordinates tried to remind him, "Won't this kick out too many viewers and affect the website's traffic?" The reason why most live broadcast websites allowed the Water Army to run rampant and malicious competition between streamers was mainly because whether it was the Water Army or the ripping of the streamers, it was all real traffic and could bring benefits to the website in another way. No matter how much they fought, the website would still be the one benefiting in the end. Chapter 141. When Uzian heard what she said, he did not panic at all. Instead, he replied generously, "Boss will bear all the losses." As soon as he said that, the hearts of the female colleagues in the office could not help but tremble. Could this be the legendary, raging to the crown for a beauty? Rumor had it that their boss was an unpredictable, cold, and ruthless person. They did not expect him to be someone who doted on his wife. He was rich, affectionate, and so protective. Why did they not realize that their precious boss was like this in the past? Indeed, good men always belong to other people. They were jealous. Uzian seemed to have seen through the thoughts of many of the girls in the office. He thought to himself, if you really meet the boss in person, you won't think this way anymore. Back then, his young master was once a rich and wealthy man whom countless wild bees and butterflies vied for. However, when they saw that his legs were crippled, those who could not be chased away immediately turned against him. They avoided his young master like he was a snake or a scorpion, afraid that they would accidentally marry such a cripple. Only young madam was willing to accept and protect his young master. Only she could change his young master. Uzian had already become Su Yiyan's #1 fan when he saw her teach Hua Xiaofeng a lesson. No matter what, he could not let young madam be taken advantage of on his company's platform. Anyone who dared to mess with their young madam would be exterminated. There was no room for discussion. At that time, Su Yiyan was still unaware that her medicinal cuisine had been included in the company's welfare benefits by Uzian, without her permission. There were many internet trolls, Wen Jingping's brainless fans, and many haters who caused trouble. Hua Chenhuan also needed some time to give orders. Although a large number of people had been banned, there were still some who cursed on the bullet screen. Su Yiyan had just turned around to pick up a pot when she saw a big red message from a hater. "I thought that your cooking was pretty good, and wanted to try it out at the lucky draw one day. Now that I know the truth, I'm really disappointed. Especially the way you guys casually ban people is too much of a bully. From now on, I won't watch your live streams anymore." Su Yiyan was almost amused by this comment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're an audience or not. If you want to eat, you should see if I'm willing to make it for you. Play with you? Is it because my time is not precious? Or is it because the true fans in the live stream room are not cute? How shameless are you? When that person saw Su Yiyan's words, he was furious and wanted to post another message to complain about Su Yiyan's arrogance. However, he realized that his account had been blocked. As for the fans who believed in Su Yiyan's decision to stay, they couldn't help but agree after hearing Su Yiyan's words. That's right, that's right. If you want to scram, hurry up and scram. If you all scram, then no one will compete with me for the streamer's medicinal cuisine. My chances of winning the lottery will skyrocket. You wish upstairs. I'm still here. If you want it, you should give it to me first. Also, don't be angry, streamer. We all support you. Those brainless people who think that they're upholding justice after being instigated by a few words are not only brainless, they're also blind. There are many things in the streamer's livestream room that can't be found on the market. That female streamer came up and accused someone of plagiarism. She should at least show some evidence. No matter what, she should at least show some things in the streamer's livestream room. There are actually people who believe in empty words. Chapter 142. Honest people don't resort to insinuations. I came here to join in the fun because I read that B*TCH statement. In the end, after watching the host's previous recording, I couldn't leave. How nice. Ha 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 ha. I thought I was the only one who felt this way. Now it seems that the sisters' eyes are still sharp. I clicked on a few of the people who were scolding in the pop-up screen, and found that most of them were men. Sigh, as expected. When it comes to identifying B*cheese, men are really at an inherent disadvantage compared to girls. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh out loud when she saw this. Wasn't that right? The reason why white lotuses and green tea people were called B*cheese was because they were good at pretending to be innocent and weak. They were good at using their advantages to incite others to stand up for them. They hid their merits and reputation and pretended to be kind and innocent, ignorant of the world. In the eyes of women, these could be seen through at a glance. But in the eyes of men, it could greatly satisfy their desire to protect, making them willing to become a gun in the hands of the other party and charge into battle for them. Of course, in addition to most of the girls who were excellent at identifying B*cheese, there were also some more rational boys who stayed. Lan Jiaya and Yang Jinyu were two of them. Little sisters, don't overturn the whole boat with one pole. There are still little brothers with sharp eyes here. That's right, that's right. Don't be completely disappointed in men just because you're disappointed in some men. There are still many good men in this world. This clarification attracted the attention of all the young ladies. Sisters, look, there are two little cuties who are alone here. Let's tease them together. Coming. Aya, little brother is so cute. Let us give him a kiss, Mua, Lan Jiaya. He's just a child. Let go of the baby. Seeing that the originally foul broadcast room became lively again with the efforts of these little cuties, Su Yiyan couldn't help but smile a little more. She wasn't worried about the commotion caused by Wen Jingping at all. Long before she entered this website and started the live broadcast, she had already expected this day to come. It was still the same sentence. Although she needed the audience's favorability, she wasn't someone who would swallow her anger. Moreover, she had already told her grandfather about some things in advance and asked him to help her solve her future problems. If nothing unexpected happened, these people who were jumping around would soon be slapped in the face. She just needed to do what she should do and what she could do. Back to the topic at hand. Let's continue with today's live stream. There are 4 medicinal cuisines to be prepared today. 3 of them are for patients with kidney disease, and the last one is for patients with premature ovarian failure. As soon as Su Yiyan said this, someone on the screen immediately asked, "Then, can those who didn't draw the nourishing medicinal cuisine drink this follow-up medicinal cuisine?" Of course you can. The effects are actually more or less the same. It's just a change of taste and more choices. Moreover, if one ate too much of the same medicinal herb for too long, one would develop resistance to it. Going too far was as bad as falling short. It's better to rotate depending on the condition of your body. The effect will be better. It would have been better if Su Yiyan did not explain. Now that he did, the screen was filled with complaints. Chapter 143. Then let's make the first soup, poria and pigeon stew. This is what you need to use: poria. Su Yiyan took out a small square plate of small white pieces. Poria has the effect of removing dampness in the orifices, calming the nerves and nourishing the yang. It has a certain effect on physical weakness, edema, and nephritis. Moreover, it's very simple to make. First, soak the pigeon in water, filter the blood, and then put the pigeon, poria, scallion, ginger, and other seasonings together. First boil the water, then reduce the heat to a simmer. Su Yiyen took the casserole pot and stewed the soup according to the steps as she spoke. Then she took out another casserole pot and said, "The second soup is matsutake, pigeon egg, and sea cucumber soup. Matsutake and sea cucumber may be relatively rare, but most people should have heard of them. Let's focus on this cordyceps flower." Su Yiyen put the cordyceps flower in the plate close to the camera and said, "This is a kind of fungus, which looks a little different from ordinary fungus. The stewed soup is very fragrant and somewhat chewy. But be careful, after the soup is boiled, most of the nutrients of the cordyceps flower have actually flowed into the soup. Viewers who don't like the taste of the cordyceps flower can choose not to eat the cordyceps flower, but they can't not drink the soup. The same goes for the matsutake. Considering the length of the live broadcast, I have soaked it before, and it's almost soaked now. The water used to soak the matsutake cannot be poured away. Directly use it as the soup base, otherwise the freshness of the matsutake will be lost." Su Yiyen said as she poured the matsutake and the boiled and peeled pigeon egg into the pot with the soup. After boiling, she changed the heat to a slow cooker. Then, she quickly boiled the sea cucumber and the cordyceps flower in a pot of boiling water and quickly soaked them. Then she took them out and set them aside. After doing this, Su Yiyen started to make the third medicinal cuisine, astragalus braised live fish. Ning Chirue had just undergone acupuncture, so he could eat more high-protein foods such as pigeon eggs and fish. Su Yiyen had already prepared the fish in advance. Now, she only carved a cross on both sides of the fish to facilitate the flavor when frying the fish. Then she sliced the dang shun and the astragalus. Immediately, he set up a wok to fry the fish first. When the fish was golden brown, he took it out. Then he added oil and brown sugar to stir-fry it until it was red in color. Then he added the fish in clear broth, slices of Codonopsis, and astragalus slices to stew it until it was tasty. After that, he added some bamboo shoots and shiitake mushrooms and other ingredients appropriately. Then he took out the wok and poured some hot lard over it. Stir-frying was not like stewing soup. Stewing soup required a bunch of ingredients to be put in, and the ingredients had to be simmered over low heat before the aroma would gradually waft out. Stir-frying, on the other hand, required the ingredients to be placed in a wok. Once the oil boiled, the aroma would immediately waft out. When Su Yiyen was cooking this dish, there were already people who were screaming from the moment she started frying the fish. When the hot oil was poured over the fish, the aroma of the food was even more domineering and filled the entire live broadcast room like a wave, forcing many people to salivate. "Isn't it just hua hua? I'll give it to you, I'll give you everything. I'll even give you my life. Please let me have a bite of this fish." Same here. This fish is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. It looks especially appetizing. It's not like the one I fried myself. That was really burnt. It was pitch black, and it even burned the wok. +1. It seems very easy to watch the host cook, but when I try to do it myself, I hate myself for being so clumsy. It's really too difficult for me. You guys actually have the time to discuss here. I've already tried several mouthfuls. It's so fragrant. Chapter 144. Su Yiyen put the fish on a plate and began to wash the rice to cook porridge. However, she found that a large group of viewers had suddenly flooded into her live broadcast room. There must be something wrong when things are abnormal, especially when these people's comments were strange no matter how she looked at them. Medicinal Cuisine Live Broadcast Room? It should be this, right? I followed the link sent by Big Senior Brother. It should be right. Su Yiyen's live broadcast room had just experienced a water army attack, so she was a little sensitive to this. Just when Su Yiyen and the viewers in the live broadcast room thought that a new water army was in place, a few comments attracted their attention. "Host, is what is said on the internet true? Are the Chinese herbs that you used in your live broadcast room really lost on ancient Earth? Can eating them really cure diseases? Host, do you really have Chinese herbs that were extinct on ancient Earth? I saw the ginseng in your video recording. It was so big, so big. Can you take it out and show it to us? Please, please. Host, we are students of the Department of Pharmacy. Are the materials used in your live broadcast really the Chinese herbs recorded in the text? Where did you get these Chinese herbs that have long been extinct? Can they be planted? You don't have to answer these questions if you don't want to, but please answer my last question. Can these Chinese herbs be sold? Can you sell them to me? Su Yiyan was stunned. Although she had been emphasizing that the materials used in her live broadcast were Chinese herbs, most of the viewers watching the live broadcast only cared about whether the dishes tasted good or not, and whether they could cure her difficult disease. Almost no one was like these people who came up and asked her about the herbs. Could it be that there was news about her grandfather so quickly? Before Su Yiyan could think about it, the system had already helped her find the answer. A few minutes ago, a student from the Department of Pharmacy of University A forwarded the host's live broadcast recording and mentioned the Chinese herbs in it. It caused a heated discussion among the students of the same department. Now almost everyone has come to find you. A student from the Department of Pharmacy of University A? Peng Jiaji was a postgraduate student in the Department of Pharmacy of University A. He had been following his teacher to study the Chinese herbs that were extinct on ancient Earth because they could not be brought away, or because they could not adapt to the current environment after migrating. 2 days ago, his younger sister suddenly sent him a video. She said that she had recently fallen in love with a food streamer who was very good at cooking and could even cure illnesses. If he passed it on to a top student in the pharmaceutical department, it might inspire him. Peng Jiaji had been working on his thesis for the past 2 days. He thought that his sister was just joking with him, so he didn't take it to heart. A few minutes before Su Yiyan started broadcasting, he was extremely annoyed and happened to see this video again. Peng Jiaji furrowed his eyebrows and opened it with the intention of adjusting his mood. However, his attention was immediately attracted by the huge ginseng in Su Yiyan's hand. What did the streamer just say? The thing in her hand was ginseng. The ginseng that only appeared in ancient literature, and was known as the king of herbs? Peng Jiaji sat up abruptly. His hands trembled as he flipped through the literature. After a long time, he finally found a crude black and white ginseng drawing in a book. He took the picture and compared it with the ginseng that appeared in the video for a long time. He felt that it was a little similar, but also a little different. It was really difficult to come to a conclusion. Chapter 145. Yi Qiliang, the dean of University A's Department of Pharmacy, was a white-haired old man in his 60s or 70s. Logically speaking, he should have retired a long time ago. However, this old man was not one to admit defeat. He insisted on staying in his post and continuing to shine for his ideals. Although the university was very happy to have a big shot helping them, they did not dare to arrange too many classes or too many students for him. Considering the old man's age, most of the students Yi Qiliang taught now were top students in the field of pharmacy. They mainly focused on Western medicine. The only regret was that Yi Qiliang's family had a Chinese medicine book that had been passed down for generations. Yi Qiliang had decided to study medicine because he read this book when he was young. Who would have thought that when he grew up, he would realize that Chinese medicine was in decline? Even a large portion of the Chinese herbs that were needed had been lost during the 2 transitions. It had been completely annihilated in the long river of history. Without Chinese herbs, a Chinese medicine practitioner was like a housewife who could not cook without rice. Yi Qiliang had no choice but to reluctantly switch to Western medicine. Even so, he had not given up on exploring and researching Chinese medicine and Chinese herbs all these years. Peng Jiaji was the student that he valued the most among the younger generation. Even though the video he sent had an exaggerated name, Yi Qiliang still clicked on it to take a look. When he saw it, his reaction was even worse than Peng Jiaji's. He was so old that he almost couldn't catch his breath. Yi Qiliang finally steadied his breathing. His eyes were almost glued to the screen. He couldn't wait to look through the screen and observe the ginseng up close. In the end, it was Peng Jiaji's message that pulled the old man's attention back. Teacher, have you seen the video? Is the ginseng that appeared in the video the king of all herbs recorded in the ancient medical books? Is it a tonic that can replenish the qi, nourish the blood, and prolong one's life? I only found a black and white picture, so I can't be sure. I can only take the liberty of sending it to you to see if it's real or fake. Yi Chiliang seemed to have woken up from a dream. He did not care about anything else and immediately sent Peng Jiaji a video message. As soon as the call connected, he asked a bunch of questions. Where did you get this video? Where is the girl talking in it now? When did you get this video? Why did you only send it to me now? Peng Jiaji was frightened by his tutor's excited and somewhat ferocious look. He said with trepidation, "This video was sent to me by my sister 2 days ago. She said that it was a video clip of a new live streamer that she especially likes. I only opened it today because I was free. I didn't deliberately hide it from you." Sob, sob, sob. I feel wronged. I feel bitter in my heart. Recording the live stream? Yi Chiliang's eyes twinkled as he said excitedly, "Hurry up and ask your sister where the live stream is. Once you find out, give me the address immediately." Peng Jiaji finally recovered from his initial shock. Looking at his tutor's anxious look, a faint guess arose in his heart. "Tutor, could it be that the person in the video is really?" Although Yi Chiliang did not answer, his expression said it all. "That's great. My sister mentioned before that she's a food livestream streamer. She's been live streaming for a while now. Maybe there are other similar types of Chinese herbs in her livestream." Chapter 146. When Peng Jiaji sent a message to his sister, she was busy arguing with the ghostwriters in the live broadcast room. She had no time to pay attention to him. Peng Jiaji waited for a long time without getting a reply. The tutor was also urging him. In the end, he couldn't wait any longer and sent a video to his sister, which attracted her attention. When Peng Jiaji's sister heard her brother asking her for the live broadcast room's address, she didn't think much about it. She just thought that her recommendation had worked. She happily sent the live broadcast room's address. She also sent the video recordings of Su Yiyan's previous live broadcasts to Peng Jiaji. These complete videos were different from the previous clip. Most of them were named after the medicinal cuisine, made in the current period. When Peng Jiaji saw a series of names of herbs such as motherwort, ginseng, cinnamon, lotus seed, and so on, the corner of his eyes twitched unconsciously. He turned around and sent it to his tutor. As soon as he sent it, he received a request for help from his sister. "Brother, are you free now? If you're free, come to the live broadcast room and help me tear down a few people. The host has been defamed. Damn it, a group of trash ghostwriters. Seeing that our host is a little famous, they openly bullied her. If the host stops broadcasting because of this, I'll stab them." What? Defamed? She might stop broadcasting? How could this be? It wasn't easy to find such a treasure host. If she was scolded by these people until she stopped broadcasting, where could they go to cry? Peng Jiaji was depressed. Not only did he apply for an account to help his sister, but he also gathered his junior brothers and sisters in the same department to help. Yi Chiliang was smashed to death by a bunch of videos sent by his student. Before he had time to be happy, he found out about this matter. He was also very angry. This academic big shot who spent most of his time in the research room. And even when he went online, he only posted some boring academic reports and student homework. Just like that, he logged into his public account that he hadn't used for a long time, and posted a post criticizing Wen Jingping. Originally, it was just a public debate between the same kind of hosts on the platform. Because of the big shot's interference, the situation changed and began to develop towards a situation that Wen Jingping couldn't control. Su Yiyan roughly understood the whole story through the system. He had a good impression of this old man who had never met him before, but had dared to stand up for him against the son of the world, just because of a few Chinese herbs. Then she saw her own live broadcast room suddenly light up with familiar exclusive special effects. And the reward announcement sounded at the right time. Congratulations to the streamer, Yan Yan, for receiving 100 luxurious and exquisite villas from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yan Yan, for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations. Did the moderator finally ban the water army that came to stir up trouble, and came back to reward and comfort the streamer? Ah. Today is also a day to cry for the beautiful love between the host and the host. A previous poster, don't say such things. The streamer has a family in real life. She already has a family, but the host still dotes on her so much. It can be said that this is true love. As soon as the special effects were turned on, there were immediately a lot of pop-up screens that surrounded the rich people who were praising her. However, in this dense barrage of bullet screen comments, what attracted Su Yayan the most was a confession message sent by the main character. Yin Yan, don't be angry because of those water army keyboard warriors. In my heart, you will always be the best. Kiss hug, raise me high. Chapter 147. Not only did Fu Su Mountain's message shock Su Yiyan, but it also shocked the other viewers in the live stream. Before this well-deserved number one dad would only leave a warning when his account was banned. At other times he would only send tips and not spam the screen. As a result, many people regarded him as a cold and aloof little brother, little sister. Now this cold and aloof person was openly acting cute and flattering the streamer. Could it be that they had always misunderstood that the father of the number one on the leaderboard was not a cold and aloof young man or woman, but a soft and cute girl? Because of Fu Su Mountains. So, are you being kept by a rich woman? Doghead. The crowd. Su Yiyan also suddenly came to her senses. She tried to hold back her laughter and said, "Thank you for your consolation. I'm fine. I know they're trying to make me angry and hurt my body. In the end, I'm the one who's at a disadvantage. I wouldn't do something that would harm others without benefiting myself. They're the ones who should be angry. With so many accounts banned, who knows how much money they've lost? The troll army that had their accounts blocked. Aya, how infuriating." Hua Chenhuan, who was watching the live broadcast, couldn't help but smile when she heard Su Yiyan's words. She then gave Yu Zian another order. Send a lawyer's letter to all the companies behind the fake reviewers to help them realize who they should not have offended. Housekeeper. Yi Qiliang was an old antique who spent most of his time behind closed doors, so he didn't know much about these young people. Peng Jiaji, who was urgently summoned to the office to watch the live broadcast with his teacher, tried to explain. The one who tipped the streamer just now. Reward. This is it. Peng Jiaji helped to pull open the gift rewards at the bottom of the live broadcast room, and explained to the teacher. This is a gift. You have to spend money to buy it. The better the gift, the higher the price. After sending it out, the streamer would split it with the website and receive a portion of the money. Giving a gift means that you're willing to spend money on the streamer, and you like the streamer's work. Yi Qiliang's eyes lit up. Then if I give her more, will she answer my questions and even agree to some of my requests and show us those herbs? Peng Jiaji wasn't sure either, so he could only give a vague answer. Probably. Usually, when there were too many rewards, as long as the request was not too excessive, the streamer would usually satisfy the audience. Do you want to give it a try? Then let's give it a try. Yi Qiliang was also a swift and decisive person. With Peng Jiaji's help, he immediately bought a few luxurious villas for Su Yiyan. Another tycoon? Did the streamer take a rich man's charm script? Why are the viewers in the live streaming room so rich? As poor as I am, I feel like I don't fit in with this high-end live stream. Every day, I hate the rich. I also want to keep the streamer QAQ. Su Yiyan heard the reward notification and looked up. Just as she was about to thank the new tycoon viewer, she saw a sentence posted by the new tycoon viewer. Chapter 148. Su Yiyan was stunned, but she quickly reacted. This viewer was the old professor from the pharmaceutical department, who had spoken up for her online not long ago. The other viewers in the live broadcast room also saw this message, and began to discuss it. The Dean of University A's pharmaceutical department? Is he some powerful big shot? It sounded like it was very powerful. Is there anyone who knows more? Me, I'm a student from University A's pharmaceutical department. Our dean is a real big shot in the industry. It's a bit difficult to list out his specific achievements here. If you don't understand, you can directly search for the words Yi Qiuliang. You'll be surprised. Many people really went to search because of his words. A series of dazzling achievements, awards, and titles were found. F***ck awesome. This is a real big shot. Ha ha ha. I saw the big shot scolding that pretentious female streamer on the public platform. That wording, that momentum, it really made my blood boil. Awesome. Unfortunately, the old man's post has already been taken over by the internet water army and the female streamer's brainless fans. It's a bit miserable. Yi Qiuliang was an academic after all. Most people like him hid behind the scenes, keeping a low profile and not being known. One Jinping's fans and the internet water army had never heard of him. They thought that he was just a marketing account that was trying to ride on popularity, so they just scolded him. They didn't realize that they had inadvertently kicked another iron plate. Ha 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 ha. Why else would they be called brainless? They even dared to attack this big shot who has made countless contributions to the medical industry. This group of people probably don't know what evil deeds are. Am I the only one who thinks that this big shot was seduced by the streamer's cooking materials? So, what the streamer said before was true. Can the food she makes really cure diseases? His words woke her up. When it came to things like eating to cure diseases, no matter how much other people boasted, she had never tried it herself. There would always be some doubts. And in this situation, did the authorities need to stamp it? A large number of comments flashed across the screen. Su Yiyan naturally saw them, especially the one that said he was attacked by the internet water army and brainless fans because he spoke up for her. So it's Dean Yi. Thank you, Dean Yi, for speaking up for me. I'm also very sorry for implicating Dean Yi, who is being chased and scolded because of a small streamer like me. Some of the materials used in my live stream are indeed Chinese medicinal herbs recorded in ancient medical books. Can I have a look? Su Yiyan didn't have any bad feelings towards this old senior, so he readily agreed. Of course, the materials used in my live broadcast room are all public. As Su Yiyan spoke, she pushed the herbs that were used today in front of the camera. Poria cocos Cotinopsis astragalus cordyceps flower. Although Yi Qiuliang had already expected that there might be more than just ginseng in this live stream, when he saw these things that only existed in images and words, he couldn't help but hold his breath. Even his hands couldn't stop trembling. Yi Qiuliang looked at them through the virtual image for a while, and even turned on the taste simulator to taste them. He finally confirmed that these were indeed the Chinese medicinal herbs recorded in his medical book. Tears welled up in his eyes as he trembled as he typed a message. Can you also take out the ginseng that appeared in the previous live stream for me to see? Sure. Su Yiyan didn't refuse and took out the big ginseng from under the cupboard. Chapter 149. The ginseng that had been plucked for a few days was no longer as vibrant as before, but just from the ginseng itself, one could still see its shape and state. However, this was not the main point. The main point was that such an extremely rare and precious herb was only casually stored in a gray and dusty black bag. Where was the box? Where was the box? At the very least, it would have been better to store it in a beautiful gift bag. Using such a shabby bag to casually store it, did you think it was some wild flower that could be found anywhere by the roadside? What a waste of God's gift. What a waste of God's gift. Yi Qiuliang clutched his aching heart and was on the verge of collapsing. He was so heartbroken that he wanted nothing more than to dive into the screen and snatch the ginseng. He wanted to personally customize a luxurious gift box and carefully store it in it, treating it as a family heirloom. Su Yiyan was completely unaware of Yi Qiuliang's inner roar. She held the ginseng and stood there for a while. She felt that this was a little silly, so she asked, "Is it done?" "Forget it, I'll put it aside for now. Take your time to look at it. I still have a kanji to make. It's about time. We'll talk about the rest later." As Su Yiyan spoke, she casually placed the ginseng beside the other plates of herbs. The withered green leaves and ginseng roots lay casually on the white porcelain plates. It looked as miserable as it could get. When Yi Qiuliang saw this scene, his heart ached again. He felt that if he continued to look at it, he might have to call for emergency treatment. The last medicinal cuisine of the day is Gorgon lotus seed congee. It mainly uses gorgon and lotus seeds. I've already made lotus seeds once before, so I won't introduce them further. Gorgon is actually somewhat similar to lotus seeds. It's a type of water lily. The gorgon is its seed kernel, just like how lotus seeds are the seeds of lotus flowers. As Su Yiyan spoke, she washed the 2 herbs and placed them into the clay pot to boil with the glutinous rice. After the gorgon was cooked, she added some white or brown sugar to complete the congee. Gorgon has the effect of nourishing qi and nourishing the body. Using it together with barley has the effect of removing dampness. If you add glutinous rice to make porridge, it will have the effect of strengthening the kidney. When Yi Qiuliang heard Su Yiyan's explanation, he couldn't help but have some doubts in his heart. As usual, he rewarded her with a few villas and asked tentatively, "Young lady, are you a doctor? Where did these Chinese herbs come from? Can you sell a part of it to us for research? The price is negotiable." If someone else had asked this question, Su Yiyan might have pretended not to see it, but this old man had spoken up for her not long ago. Su Yiyan also accepted his kindness, and said with a faint smile, "These things are passed down in my family, and have been cultivated recently. As for whether or not I'll sell it, and how I'll sell it, we'll have to wait." Wait for what? Wait for the news. Su Yiyan's words were an indirect admission that these herbs would be sold in the future. Not only Yi Qiuliang, but the old viewers who had watched her live broadcast for a few episodes were also excited, and they sent a lot of questions on the pop-up screen. The official announcement had not been released yet, and Su Yiyan had no intention of being entangled in this topic. Next, as usual, let's draw a prize. The 2 soups and the porridge will each be given to a lucky audience member. As for the fish, only one was fried, so it has to be given to the patient first. It won't be participating in the draw. As soon as she said this, the audience no longer worried about the ingredients. They began to complain that Su Yiyan did too little, and they were envious of the host's sick family member. Su Yiyan had always mentioned her family in her previous live broadcast, so the audience naturally thought that the patient was Su Yiyan's family member. Chapter 150. The system's lottery speed was very fast, and the 3 slots soon popped up. Due to Yi Qiuliang's free publicity, the number of people participating in the lottery in the live broadcast room increased significantly. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the 3 slots were 1 in a million. The audience members who weren't selected complained and cried on the bullet screen. In addition to the lucky audience members who were selected, they were also jealous of the host's family members who could eat the host's meals at any time. Su Yiyan packed everything and looked up to see the screen full of jealousy. His eyes turned slightly, and he smiled faintly. "Finally, I'll pick a lucky audience member to be the attending patient for the next live broadcast. The selected audience member only needs to send me a recent photo, and I'll choose to customize a medicinal cuisine suitable for his physique, and send it to him in the next live broadcast." Su Yiyan had already learned from the system that the function of observation was not limited to reality. It could also be used on the internet. In other words, as long as the other party sent a recent photo of himself, Su Yiyan would be able to see his physical condition at the time of the photo, and formulate a medicinal cuisine suitable for his physique. As soon as this proposal came out, the audience members who weren't selected were once again in an uproar. "Oh my God, a tailor-made medicinal cuisine. What kind of God's chosen one is this? System, quickly familiarize yourself with me. Please let me be selected. Gods and Buddhas above. I'm willing to be a vegetarian for the rest of my life in exchange for being selected. I beg the European Emperor to take care of me, please." What nonsense are you talking about above? Gods, Buddhas, and European Emperor? Aren't you afraid that they'll fight? Unlike me, I'm very single-minded. I worship the number 1 on the leaderboard, pray for the number 1 on the leaderboard to bless me. There were countless people praying to the gods and Buddhas in the bullet screen. No matter how one looked at it, it felt like they were cramming at the last minute before the big exam. Su Yiyen's lips curved slightly, and he quickly selected a lucky audience member. Su Yiyen glanced at the other party's ID, and his face went blank for a moment. He blinked and stared for a while before he was sure that he hadn't seen wrongly. Ahem, congratulations to the viewer with the ID. Hubby is a Mediterranean. Please send me a private message with your photo after the live broadcast. I will personally order a medicinal cuisine for you during the next live broadcast. That's all for today's live stream. See you next time. After Su Yiyen finished speaking, he did not pay any attention to the screams on the screen. It was as if he had missed out on 100 million viewers. He simply turned off the live broadcast. It was Yi Qiuyang's first time playing this game, so his reaction was slow. It was only when Su Yiyen turned off the live stream that he snapped out of his daze and said in annoyance, "Why did she leave? What should he do now? She just said something about seeing you on the next episode. When is the next episode? Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? No, I can't wait that long." Peng Jiaji knew that his teacher was anxious and hurriedly said, "Teacher, we can send her a private message." Private message? A private message is... Just as Peng Jiaji was about to discuss this with his teacher, a message suddenly popped up on his chat account. "You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."